Who attacks a man before his Royal Rumble even begins? And why would WWE want that question to linger unanswered? That moment outside the ring changed Bron Breakker's entire night, and possibly his entire direction moving forward. Because this wasn't just an early elimination. It wasn't just bad luck. It was an intentional interruption, one that forced fans to stop watching the match and start asking why this happened at all. Bron Breakker did lose a battle inside the Royal Rumble. He was denied the chance to fight one. As Breakker made his entrance, focused and ready, a masked man emerged without warning and jumped him. There was no dramatic pause, no music cue, no obvious giveaway. Just a sudden ambush that immediately took Breakker out of rhythm. Seconds later, Oba Femi eliminated him, capitalizing on the chaos that had already done the damage. And just like that, Breakker was gone. But the elimination itself wasn't what stuck with people. It was the setup. The precision. The fact that someone clearly planned for Bron Breakker specifically. That detail matters because in the Royal Rumble, randomness is expected. Targeted attacks are not. Almost immediately, fans began looking backward instead of forward. Replays were scrutinized. Screenshots were slowed down. And speculation took over the conversation in a way that WWE is very familiar with and very comfortable encouraging. The first theory that gained traction centered on Logan Paul. The masked attacker had a similar build, similar athletic movement, and the kind of physical confidence people associate with Paul's style. Given his history of sudden appearances and controversial involvement, the theory felt plausible enough to catch fire. But Logan Paul didn't play along. He denied the idea outright, without ambiguity, and without the playful tone WWE talents sometimes use when they want to keep a mystery alive. His response shut that door rather than teasing it open, which forced fans to look elsewhere. That's when the situation started getting more interesting. On Raw, instead of clarifying the situation, WWE added another layer. During a heated segment involving the Vision, Adam Pearce made a comment that felt casual on the surface, but heavy in implication. He referenced the last time he saw a masked man attack someone, saying that it turned out to be Austin Theory. Pearce didn't accuse. He didn't confirm. He simply reminded everyone that masks in WWE rarely mean what they seem to mean. That one line introduced doubt, not just for viewers, but within the storyline itself. It suggested that whoever was responsible might not be the obvious suspect, or that the truth might be hiding behind misdirection, layered on top of more misdirection. Then Paul Heyman spoke. WWE released backstage footage of eliminated wrestlers being escorted out after the Rumble. In that footage, Heyman appeared convinced that he knew exactly who attacked Bron Breakker. He claimed it was Seth Rollins. Heyman's accusation carried weight because it came with reasoning. The masked attacker used a move that closely resembled Rollins' stomp. Not a vague imitation. Not a coincidence. It looked deliberate, as if someone wanted that comparison to be made. And for a moment it worked. Fans began revisiting everything they knew about Rollins. His history of calculated actions. His willingness to play the long game. His comfort operating in gray areas. If anyone could orchestrate something like this, it would be him. Except the timeline didn't add up. Rollins had already stated that he would not be present in Saudi Arabia for the Royal Rumble. And in the same backstage footage, Bron Breakker himself expressed disbelief, reminding everyone that Rollins had surgery roughly a month earlier. That reaction grounded the situation. It pulled the audience back into reality. Because physically, logically, Seth Rollins being under that hood didn't seem possible. Unless, of course, WWE wanted fans sitting in that exact contradiction. Some fans pointed to past examples where Rollins blurred the line between injury and storyline, including situations where his physical condition was part of the narrative deception. The idea wasn't impossible. It was just uncertain. And uncertainty is where WWE thrives. For days, the discussion went in circles. Every theory had a counterargument. Every clue raised another question. And WWE notably said nothing on television to resolve it. Then a report emerged that reframed everything. According to the High Spots podcast, the person under the mask was Grayson Waller. The report claimed that Waller had been pulled from NXT Live events so he could travel to Riyadh, despite not being advertised for the Royal Rumble. That detail alone raised eyebrows. WWE doesn't quietly move talent internationally without a purpose, especially not for an unadvertised role. The reasoning behind the report added even more intrigue. According to the claim, WWE needed someone who could convincingly move like Seth Rollins. Someone athletic enough to sell the stomp. Someone believable enough to keep the illusion intact on camera. Grayson Waller fit that requirement. If the report is accurate, then Waller wasn't positioned as the story. He was positioned as the tool. That distinction is important, because using Waller as the physical attacker does not resolve the narrative question of responsibility. It only explains how WWE executed the moment without exposing the long-term plan. In that interpretation, Waller isn't the mastermind. He's the stand-in. And that possibility keeps Seth Rollins firmly in the conversation, even if he wasn't physically present. WWE has used this approach before. One performer carries out an action. Another is revealed later as the architect behind it. That structure allows WWE to protect stars who aren't available while still advancing the story. It also gives them flexibility, because as of now, nothing has been confirmed on television. No identity has been revealed. No explanation has been given. WWE has left the mystery intact in front of the audience, even as backstage reports pull back part of the curtain. That split matters. What fans know and what the characters know are not the same thing. And WWE can exploit that gap for weeks, even months, if they choose to. Reports suggest Seth Rollins is expected to return before WrestleMania 42. That timeline gives WWE room to let this situation simmer, to allow Bron Breakker's frustration to grow, to let speculation evolve naturally. And Bron Breakker is the emotional center of this story. This attack wasn't about embarrassing him. It wasn't about making him look weak. It was about acknowledging his threat level. Someone thought it was necessary to remove him before the match even began. That's not an accident. That's respect, expressed in the most hostile way possible. Breakker wasn't eliminated because he couldn't hang. He was eliminated because he never got the chance to compete on equal footing. And in wrestling storytelling, that distinction is everything. It gives him justification. It gives him motivation. And it gives WWE a clear path forward. Whether the attacker was Grayson Waller acting on orders or someone else entirely, the effect on Breakker remains the same. He was wronged. Publicly. On one of the biggest stages of the year. And unresolved injustice is one of wrestling's most reliable engines. WWE's decision not to immediately clarify the situation also speaks volumes. In an era where answers are often rushed, this story is being allowed to breathe. Fans are arguing. Analysts are debating. And every new detail is being weighed carefully. That's not accidental. By letting reports exist without confirmation, WWE keeps every option open. They can confirm Waller later. They can pivot back to Rollins. They can reveal layers within layers. The audience doesn't know which path will be taken, and that uncertainty fuels engagement. It also protects everyone involved. If Waller is revealed as the attacker, he gains relevance. If Rollins is revealed as the mastermind, his return gains gravity. And if Bron Breakker confronts either man, the confrontation feels earned. Nothing has been wasted. Right now, all we truly know is this. Bron Breakker was targeted. The attack was planned. The visual language pointed towards Seth Rollins. A report claims Grayson Waller executed the act. And WWE has confirmed none of it on screen. That combination is not confusion. It's design. And as WrestleMania season approaches, stories like this tend to sharpen rather than fade. The question isn't whether this will be addressed. The question is how long WWE wants you sitting in the uncertainty before they finally let the truth step into the light. Because when that moment comes, Bron Breakker will be waiting. And when he finally gets answers, the fallout won't just clarify the past. It will define his future. So here's the real discussion. If Grayson Waller was only the man under the mask, but Seth Rollins is the suspected mind behind the plan, who should Bron Breakker hold responsible when this story finally moves forward?